What's good, guys, and welcome to this video. So almost 70% of you are not even subscribed to this channel. So what are you doing? Click that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to stay notified for new uploads coming very, very soon.
I know it's gonna hurt, but you're worth fighting for.
So how has trading changed my life over the past 3 years? And I think it'd be good to do a video in this in the future, as I'm still going through this journey. I still consider myself early to medium stages, so it'd be good to kind of do this in a few years time too. But right now, I'd say one of the main things is self-growth. So surrounding myself with successful people has got to be one of the biggest things for myself personally. You know, being surrounded by successful people and actually observing them, seeing how they do different habits, different processes, how they hold themselves, how they talk about themselves and other people, and even the markets. That positive language is key, and it's not something you see with, you know, just the average person sometimes, so that you can see the clear differences and between successful and unsuccessful people, and then you start to adapt that same mindset. You know, and I've been blessed to surround myself with a lot of like-minded people within Falcon and on social media and things like that, and that's so beneficial. So that is one of the biggest things for myself personally. And even going back to the school days, I'm just thinking back right now, I was never a big advocate of reading books, because if you think back to school, you know, we're just reading fiction books. If school forces you these books on you that, you know, do not benefit your life at all. But as soon as you start getting out of school, you realize the big difference between self-education and corporate education. You know, don't even get me started on corporate education. If you think back to school, you know, you learn things like Pythagoras. Have I ever used that in school? Definitely not. But then you don't learn things like meditation, taxes, how to start a business, all these valuable skills that you need outside of school. So yeah, it's probably a different video in itself. But once you start reading books, and I was, I think, 18 or 19 years old, you start to come across books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, all these beneficial books that kind of broaden your mindset and perspective. Because the thing is, if you have a certain environment and you're surrounded by that environment all the time, whether that's limited or broadened, then you're gonna adapt the same mentality. There's a common phrase in that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and it's so true. So if you have a limited environment, your mindset is gonna be limited. But as soon as you start broadening your mindset, then you're going to have such a widened, expanded mindset as well. So that's been super key. Moving on to point number 2, which is work ethic and discipline. Now, I'm quite blessed in the respect that I developed a really good work ethic, or a good foundation for a work ethic, during my teens, because I played a lot of snooker, involved with a few of us projects that really helped me develop that good, solid work ethic that I've just refined. But trading has helped me double down on that, improve that, focus on the skill and really build it up, especially in times where, you know, I didn't really have much. So I was working 9 to 5, really just trying to, you know, I was literally like paying my bills and then going to work, and then, you know, in that cycle for a little bit. And I was going to work 9 to 5, going straight to college, and then coming home, back testing, putting in the content, putting in the hours on the screen, going to bed at like 11 or 12 at night, and then just repeating the same process day in, day out. And during those hard times, it definitely built a lot of good character, a lot of good skills like work ethic and discipline. I still remember having bloodshot eyes for I think it was like 6 months in 2017, just because I was just working so hard. I was on the screen for so many hours a day, and I had a job that was involved in the screen, coming to college using the screen, then coming home in a dark room. You know, sometimes these lights aren't the best, well, they weren't when I had them, and then I was just putting in hours on the screen as well. So it definitely took its toll, but I'm grateful for that, because it taught me a lot about not only trading but myself, and built me a lot of transferable skills into other areas as well. And also from a discipline standpoint, in the respect that, you know, it wouldn't be unusual for me to go to bed at 11, 12 or 1 a.m. in the morning, and there's a certain discipline that has to take place there, because if you come home and you're so tired, that was coming home so many days, and you go through so many things in a day, you're tired enough to then actually get the discipline to then focus and actually realign, set your daily goals, and then get on the charts as well, is another discipline effect in itself. So I remember going through that, and, you know, to be able to stay up half an hour later to do your preparation for the day ahead in terms of daily goals, forecasting, get ready for trades, and then get up earlier as well to do that same process so that you do not miss out on that, and then you still can learn and capitalize. That was definitely hard in some times as well, but it built a lot of character, and I'm so blessed to, you know, have that skill right now. So grateful for that. And when I went part-time and then full-time into other projects as well, that transferable skill that I learned in the 9 to 5 days just transferred over really, really nicely. So yeah, very grateful for that. But right now I need to continue with my day, so I'm going to get into the Sunday market breakdown and a couple of other things as well. So join me back here very, very soon. So just got done with a few things, so just wanted to hop back on here and point out on point number 3, which has got to be focus. Now, as traders, right, focus has got to be our primary objective, because when we're focused, we have so much clarity and flow in terms of the markets. And I notice a direct correlation when I'm focused and in flow state of my output in terms of results wise. So that is like something to pay attention to. It's almost like when I notice I'm not in flow, that definitely affects my results. So if my results aren't quite where I want them to be, it allows me to then go back to the focus standpoint and be like, well, was I in focus? Are my processes on point? Are my routines on point? Is everything in check? If not, let's fix that. And then as a side effect of that, my results then start to increase. Another thing as well is that when I have a lot of distractions going on, especially with what's been happening recently within the world, I've noticed my focus has not been the same. So that's definitely had an impact on results wise and things like that as well. So you have to always remain in that flow state. And if you're not in that flow state, then take a step back, realize what is, you know, essentially penetrating that focus, and then reverse engineer that and get that focus back. So that's the key. That's been the key for me over the past couple of weeks as well, which is definitely start to make an impact on everything right now. So grateful for that. But in terms of music wise, music has to be the anchor for myself to get in that focus flow state. So I'm a big advocate of an app called Brain FM. So I've been banging on about this to you guys for the past probably 12 months or coming up close to that, and I've been using it for that time period, and it's just had a dramatic increase in my productivity, my focus, and just my clarity, because I use it in meditation too. So what I liked about Brain FM is that it's science backed, so it's not just like some airy fairy stuff. It's backed by science studies. So I really love that, and that I use that on the daily. You know, when I'm sleeping sometimes, if I'm having a nap, I'll use that, and I just feel so much more energized when I put that on when I'm having a nap, or when I'm meditating, or when I'm focused, you know, banging out some work in the background. So that's what I use. And secondly, if I'm actually learning some new material, so let's say I'm going through some Falcon content, or I'm reading a book or something like that, I'll put on something called Baroque classical music. This is really good because it activates both the left side and the right side of the brain for retention of that information. So very beneficial, look into that too. And it's not going to be for everyone, but I really like that when it comes to learning new information. So that's how I get in focus, and that's why focus has been such a paramount thing for myself personally. So right now it's currently just about to go 2:30 in the UK here. So as you can see, this is like my place of freedom, I guess. I always come here, been coming here since I was a kid, and it's such a good place. So I thought I'd come for a walk just to get a bit of fresh air from the charts. I've just finished up with my last bit of prep for the week ahead, so just thought I'd take a walk and cover a couple more points. So one of the main points that I want to mention is developing a tough mindset. I think that one of the things that I look back on in my journey so far is that there's been so many pivotal moments where it would have been so easy for me to give up and give in. So many head banging against the wall moments, so many tough times, especially when I was working 9 to 5 and when I was going to college, and then I was trying to make trading happen alongside that too. Once again, like I said before, bloodshot eyes, so much time on the screen. How did I not give up in those times? Just that perseverance. I think there is so much character that's developed in those times where you have no option but to go forward and go through that tough time and get through it. So I'm so grateful that I've been through that within my trading journey, because if I hadn't, I would have been a lot more susceptible to different things like losses and different things within the market. So I think you get to a point within your trading, well I did anyway, where you take enough losses where you just think to yourself, I need to figure out a process, put that in place to then start capitalizing on a few trades instead of taking loss after loss after loss, because we've all been there. It's a part of the journey. You need to go through it in the foundational stages of the journey. So grateful for that. But yeah, right now just out here, just going to stay here for like 5-10 minutes longer and then start to head back and get through a few things that I need to get through tonight. So the next point is peak performance. Now trading has really made me realize how much peak performance is important in not everyday life, but also, trading as well. So that's been a huge thing for me. And I started digging into this and started to realize this later last year. So there's direct things that affect the business, which is trading, and then there's indirect things that affect the business, which is trading too. So direct wise, these are processes that directly affect the output of your trading performance. So things like advanced self-review, journaling, trading plan, forecasting, backtesting, all these little things that you do daily or weekly or within the month that have an impact on your trading performance. So that is directly, and then we have indirectly too. In terms of indirect things, these are things that I didn't really think about in the beginning stages of my journey, but as you go deeper into the journey and you develop a little bit more, you start to realize that these things are important. So things like health and fitness. Now you look at health and fitness and it's like, well, health and fitness doesn't really have a direct impact on my trading, but then if you dig into it and you start to realize that, well, the food, the supplements, the water I put into my body has an effect on the decision making process and how I operate, then you start to realize that it does have an effect. Exactly the same thing with sleep. So if you don't get enough sleep, are you going to then perform in a peak performance flow state? Probably not. Same thing with this. So I put a few things in place. So I do things like meditation, things that help sleep, things that help me focus. So I've actually just got number one, an Oura ring. So I've been tracking my sleep metrics on there for a while, and then this too. So this is a red light therapy kit. What it essentially does is I stand in front of it every day, and it helps increase energy, which then also increases sleep as well. There's a few other benefits that I've received, but it's been good. And those little things that people don't think about. And then meditation, cold therapy, been doing that for a while. All these little things that I think you start to realize more essentially as you scale up as well. So if I'm trading 10 times my current account size, these can be small details that I pay attention to on a lot deeper level. And this is really why last year I started to pay a lot more attention to these with the goal of then scaling up. So yeah, super important. And last but definitely not least, trading has provided me a clear vehicle to get to where I was in the beginning to where I want to go in the future. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without trading. I wouldn't be on the same path that I'm on right now. So I'm truly blessed. I think that trading has the potential to give you generational wealth if you just really put the time in right now, really focus on the foundation and get to where you want to get to. It has so much potential. So especially in these times where a lot of people are in quarantine right now, a lot of people are in isolation, I've really started to realize how much of a skill trading is, because you can work from home, you can work from just your laptop, and it's such a valuable skill to have in these times, especially to be learning how to trade in 2020. So I'm really grateful for that, really grateful for the past couple of years, the past few years, and I know that I'm going to continue to be grateful in the future years to come, because it's just going to be insane. So I think that's been one of the biggest things amongst many points in this video that's helped me over the past 3 years. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've gained some sort of value out of watching this content, and let me know down below what you guys want to see in the future in the upcoming episodes. I really want to cover some of the topics in isolation that I just covered, so I can go into a lot more depth, especially from a peak performance, that kind of topic too. So that's going to be key. In regards to this, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell to stay notified for new episodes that are coming out very shortly that you do not want to miss out on. And I have a goal this year. I have a mission to provide as much value, as much positive impact as humanly possible. So I'd really appreciate it if you do click that subscribe button below, and you really help me and us grow this channel and really achieve that. So that's going to be good. But yeah, have a good week ahead. Speak to y'all soon. With